I'm still continuing the fan fiction, but this fan fiction is about how Tony has sex with Steve. Steve had sex with Tony. Tony is pregnant. Steve is the father. Pepper is the mother, but she doesn't want the child. So the thing is, I'm going to read the whole thing where Tony has his own child, but he's married to Steve right now. But if you have a reaction to YouTube, I can show you what it looks like in a reaction on YouTube. But please, if you don't like the way people are, this is what I'm telling you. I am a fan fiction fan. I am more into fan fiction. I am more into fan fiction because fan fiction is my thing. Fan fiction is the only thing I like. And plus, if you don't like fan fiction, please. I understand you're straight. I understand you have to do stuff just to do stuff. I understand you have to do anything but anything you have to do, I understand. Now, I will continue reading. Okay. A human thing, period, party, and hatred about himself as he was a human and had a power sleep. No! Each thing, super spend, and or super strength. And that's okay because he was Iron Man. Tony fucking Stark. He didn't need all that to greet. He was born. Well, at least he thought so. He had thoughts, so not so thoughts much many. And all that had now changed. What if he was looking at the was true? He is not a skin. Human skin. Either. Was it true he is not a human anymore? Either they found a way to a scan to super soldier scan and or they still had some left after Burns and the super soldier, but either way they had to use it on him. He remembered they didn't give him anything, and by the looks of it, there were some others. Charms, Maxern, that combined it with his some, not the same as the yet is it a focused perfect he needs to do some test to see if he could captured what they exactly were. Alexa, stop. He which Burns, what Bruce was here. He knew a lot more information than he does, but unfortunately Bruce is God knows where he's doing. God knows what, and he couldn't find him, which it is a first, and he tired everything and looked everywhere. He was Ross looking for Bruce to Tony. Just hope he never finds him. Well, shit. This makes things more complicated. Do you have any ideas what our Roberty asked he as he turned towards Tony? The one part, yes, it's almost the same scam Roger and has, and they're just the same. They're that are different than Rogers, but the other have no clue to what they are. But I will find out what it just needs. Time to run his hand through his hair, letting out a sigh. He's been doing it a lot lately. Just keep on getting complained. He tired from more than he has ever been, even when he don't sleep in 72 hours. Alexa, stop. Should pause it. Oh well. Not to mention the nurse reporting and camping the odd dream coming. However, he can deal with they were working warded off nightmare. He's getting more sleep and then he has in years. You okay? You look behind tired. Why don't you get to bed? Tony's up by his soda and walked Tony to his room. Sitting him on the bed, Robbie pulled off his shirt and laid down. Tony was already asleep when tracking him into his room. Robbie knew Tony have a hard time lately with everything he's been through, along with the pregnancy. And not to mention things he still need to do. Call Pepper was trying to hold off Ross while Tony recovers. But he was too stubborn. If Tony didn't go see Ross, not or even call Ross, is going to take things into his own hands, which was wrong, was going to be a disaster. He'll show up here unlike did at any time, and that cannot happen, not with Tony's present state. At states they need to come up with a plan to deal with everything and try not to put so much on Tony's shoulder. Work together even if he's not going to like it. Work towards the living he appears. Getting on the couch, tripping away on her pad. Hey, don't you see? You hear Tony is asleep if you wanted him? Looking up to Pepper, smiled Robbie. I just wanted to see how he was doing, but Friday has already told me he went to bed. I thought I'll try until tomorrow morning to see for myself. Robbie knew that Pepper was worried. He didn't forgive her for hurting Tony, but he could try and understand. He is fine, Pepper. Pregnant, but okay. But you know he will always make through no matter what. The pressure him down, putting her knee on as he sat down next to her, knowing that what we love about Tony, he never give up. He is going to need help, and we will be there for him. But he couldn't. All he could do now was be there for him whenever he needs it. Frowning at a sudden light sun behind Tony's eyes, he slowly woke up from a fearful sleep. He didn't want to wake up, but the sun rised up in his eyes, wondering when it becomes morning. He couldn't have slept so long. He always wake up before the sun, no matter how much late he stayed awake. Feeling a hard move up his chest. Turns out his hand to look who it was. When he put his sight on a very naked Steve. He only had a blanket over him, lowering his body. Steve, Tony gasped. Steve was in the bed. How didn't he? He didn't know, but he was there naked, and he can't bring himself to care. Hush, hey, it was just a dream. Moving forward and resting his head on Tony, Steve looked into his eyes. Everything is okay. Rolling on top of him, Steve started kissing his neck, grabbing Steve's hip, holding on for his dear life as he felt very itchy of Steve on top of him, enjoying the situation. Steve had strength and gathering on hip, letting go of Steve's hip. Tony grabbed him by the hair, bringing him up for a kiss lips, moving him ruthless, all locked up, poisoned and desert, broken, lost, as the kiss grows and unveiled and growled against each other. Oh God, Steve, he moaned against Steve's lips. He was close breaking the kiss. Let me take care of you, doll, Steve whispered as the gulped see the strength against Tones. Steve screamed as Tony screamed as he came, jerked up away and breathed heavily. He looked around the room. There was no sign of Steve. It was still dark, and looking down at the mess he made on his stomach. Ha! The mess he made on his stomach. He grins. It was all a dream. Turns out his head. Tony looked at the clock and hoping there may be some time for more sleep when he saw it. I am fucking kidding me. No matter how hard he tired, Tony couldn't stop thinking about work and dreaming, tired, working on fabulous and designed for a new suit for Peter, and himself couldn't do heavy lifting for obviously the reason he did the little thing. He was having a relatively good day today. He was working on the project, but he couldn't stop thinking about the damn dream. To connect on it. He didn't Steve like that, okay? He would be lying if he said he hasn't thought of Steve like that, but maybe once or twice. Living, breathing sets, legs that lived under the same roof. Then does the best. Tony is a ladies' man, but he liked women. The cover, the better. So now he sat in the kitchen with a filthy cup of tea. Yes, tea, because a captain frantically needs to get his ass kicked for throwing away the coffee and getting rid of the coffee machine, staring into the distance when will Pam and refresh the Pepper come into the Pepper always organized. Pepper come into the kitchen, and no matter what time it is was or where she was, she always organized and dressed well, walking to where the coffee machine used to be and looking for her. Coffee mix. Tony, where is the coffee machine? Coming out of his doze trends towards Pepper while taking a sip of strawberry. She read from a pregnancy book that coffee intakes is bad for the baby. So he got rid of the really expensive coffee. I hope you don't mind. Tea is simple to start interaction. He loved coffee, but it couldn't help him think and stayed awake. Now he can't have any of it, and tea is just on fully for him, and it's not working at all. Seemsly to accept it. She shrugged. Are you okay, Tony? You seem a little dudge. She was right. He was dudged, which wasn't normal for him, but he did. He wasn't doing anything at all. He was just staring into the distance, which was unnormal. For him, I'm fine. I'm just having some odd dreams. Nothing to worry about. When did you get in, by the way? Sitting down next to Tony. Last night. I wanted to check on you, but where is already sleep? So I stayed. the night. So I've been thinking while you are still you with you, I know, flat, bold, we should show you in pathetic deals. Oh gosh, pathetic deals. You if you do some shows and go into hiding, people won't place the stand while grabbing a glass of pour her orange juice. What do you think? He learned of watching Pepper as went about the kitchen well timed and shrugged down his short back. He knew he had to do it. It's time to work on his project. Yeah, sounds like great. Just tell me when and where. Drinking the last of the half cold tea, stood and putting the cup on the sink. I'm going down to the lab. I have a project I'm working on, making the plan, putting it up. I'll be there, kissing Pepper on her cheek as he left without waiting for her to respond, knowing he needs to discuss all detail with Pepper about her plan. But Tony needs to make plans of his own. He needs to find a way to get the Rug Avengers. He can release that now. That was going to have a kid need to take care of her or him. He couldn't do that while being Iron Man. Well, he could, but he knew that was a big chance. One day he is going to either mess up and end up dead, or they could be killed. Too much for him to handle and end up getting. He knew the kid, the version and or the kid was going to be there, but with him, but with the Avengers, but not as strong as group comes. The best thing he could do is protect the world, all while he gets the occurrence challenge express. Ross getting him behind bars, getting shielded back, running while he gets all Avengers out and Savage. You should be easy. At the arrival, he walked into the lab and wanted to see if Friday could find DNA that matched to those that was in how it looks. Frowned, and he asked to take a seat. Fainted through the design of protection project. It has been staged and developed. He needs to work on an out there design it while he still could. It's going great so far, boss. The date and protector is being added and transferred. Now it's still been a while before they can have been acted. Great. Fine. Open a new file named Ross, and then I want you to find out about the Pan's past and future avenged through E. Ross hacked into it, and if you have any approval that anyone was there, get any and or every piece of information you have can, but be careful. And how it the DNA search going anywhere? Yes, I have been able to track a multiple DNA stand. One a super soldier DNA and the other are a villainous Monty DNA stand. Monty was shocked. He was suspicious. The super soldier. Yes, scam DNA. And Monty's DNA. He was surprised. But yes, 1973. And he named his bowler Jack, who killed and examined on minted for their DNA to create robot flying ad and to see Charlie Xavier to the almost full list to do, please. And what about the super soldier? Yes, boss. The super soldier scam I had run away was not the same strength as the scam that Cap Rogers has, however, made a copy of the super soldier scam. It also accepts the scam that was on. Tony felt like he could pull out his hair. Not only does he now have mental DNA that was his match. You're telling me that DNA, my DNA, it now is loyal screwed up and I'm mented and I have a blood headed against the desk was growing by the minute. Yes, it seems the agent's burns are now blood-related boss. Friday voted voice. The a hint of smooth. That's great. Giving to the edge he burned his hand against the desk. I forgot. Sighing running through his hair felt like going nowhere. It's not that he wasn't doing anything, but because it's going slow. Tony liked fast, getting things done. It's already been 3 weeks and since he found out due to his screw up DNA. He was a Mountie, and he was also related to Burns. It was starting to give him a headache. The range in parties and meeting was also tearing him out. Now almost 3 months pregnant and could see the small change of his body to his body. Easy to hide. He had meet with Charlie Xavier in 3 weeks. Then he had Charity Ball with the week after that, and so on and so on and so on. On and on. He wasn't looking forward to any of it, especially the meeting with the kind of walk tackle. Tony wasn't stopping. He wasn't stupid. He knew Rogers avenged the hold up. There he was, avenging, angry at first, got over it. He is too old for revenge. Otherwise now he looked younger than he was before. Strange, too. He started to notice a very strange thing happening to him. Little strange than being pregnant. Yesterday he was talking to his bots, DME and and U, which is normal. He always does that, but this time he understands every single word had Friday here to help him now. Bonding goes disappearing. He feels numbers, designs, and codes at the back of his mind like it was part of him. Also, now He could see as clear as day what was wrong with the viral he has and how much of them working better to drive faster. Boss, have you met the surgeon Ross in an hour? Look, found the project he's been working on, thinking, fine, is there any way I can avoid Tony really same room with something other than the usual does not sit right with Tony. He knew Ross would do anything not only to get Brandon, but to find the Rogers Avengers. But he had Friday to complete the events. Ross, but nothing to sold, making his way to take a shower. He completed. If he wanted to find out who the other father was, he knew he needed to know if he need work to take care and action there other fathers has, and if he wanted to know to if he was having a girl or a boy, he doesn't matter to, otherwise he wouldn't know what really do with a girl. Thank God Pepper. Avenger Tony is undressing. I could undress myself, but I'm not masturbating. I'm not. Looking at his stomach, Tony placed a hand on his belly and formed a bump. Matter, you know, this is really not a world you want to be born in. It shit, and I would probably try and stop causing his chuckle. He sat down and found Tony's room, waiting for Ross, typing away on his strike pad. But here, with still the same code. He liked it. Old school, working with his hand. Too